Does not. What do you, talk to me. Talk to me. You guys have been doing a great job, and I've been trying to really ratchet back my, the way I do things, and because you guys are you've been so civil to each other, professional, agreeing to things, moving quickly, and I so appreciate it. It makes my life so much better. And so thank you. And so if I can help you now, I'm more than happy to do it. I know everybody's anxious to be done, but it's a process, and we're being very respectful to the process for both sides. So, Ms. Ridgestone, talk to me.
Right. Today we pretty much we're certain we have up until at least 4:30 or 5 with people.
Great.
Tomorrow we can do the DNA. I've been informed by Ms. Ramsey. The cross will not be too lengthy. My presentation will probably be 2 hours, 2.5 at the very, very most. So after that,
If we started at 10, could you be done by noon? Or should I tell them 9:30? I'll just tell them.
we start at 9 or 9:30, we can be done by noon.
So I'll split the difference there. I'll say 9:15
9:15 and then break for the day?
when she's done with her cross.
Right.
But so what I'm trying to do is your direct will take to lunch. You told me 2 hours.
Right.
How long do you think, I know that's a real,
Right, and then just take a late lunch.
so you'd rather go straight through?
Straight through and then break.
Then I should get them here early
That's fine.
and then just break for the day.
Right.
No lunch break.
Right.
Agreed? And then, so we could tell them that we think if we went straight through lunch, that we could be done around 12:30, 1 o'clock?
At the latest. The very latest.
Sounds like a plan. So why don't we just tell them? And if somebody has some issue, then I'll deal with it. And we have the witness ready? Okay.
So the witnesses
Oh,
that
yes.
asked Robert, what we are asking is that the jury control is because he has a new assignment.
Unrelated to this case.
Unrelated to this case, as an undercover officer, and because of the media presence, we are allowing him to appear.
We're allowing him to conceal his identity via a mask.
Okay. Is he going to be next?
Yes, Agent Rhodes.
All right, before you bring him in, let me bring the jury out and talk to them. So I think we're ready for them.
Yes.
Jury entering.
Welcome back, jurors. Thank you for your patience. Everybody have a seat. And to the jurors, I made an executive decision. Hopefully everybody can live with it. And so here it goes. Tomorrow, we're going to have you come same time, between 8:15 and 8:30, gather up. Here's our plan, though. We're going to have really one witness tomorrow. It's involved. It's a DNA witness. And here's our plan. The state's going to go, the defense is going to do their cross, and then the state gets a redirect if they want it, just like we've been doing. We expect that to end sometime around noon to 1 o'clock, somewhere in there. So we're not going to break for lunch, but then we're going to be done for the day. And you're going to early start on your weekend, all right? hopefully that doesn't cause anybody a problem. Can everybody, I guess you expected to be here all day anyhow, but I have to tell you, when we have new judges, I've been here 16 years, so I can't remember. I had so many panels on this case, who I told what to. But I've been here a long time, and the new judges now, when they're sworn in, they have a ceremony, in fact, right in this courtroom. And one of the things that it's the one day judges can accept gifts. So the various bar associations give gifts to the new judge, and one of them is a plaque, kind of like this plaque here, and it says, "Professionalism and civility, nothing less will be tolerated." If you notice during this case, I haven't had to say one. They barely got me working because they've been so professional and so civil to each other, which is what good lawyers do. They vigorously represent their sides, but it doesn't mean we have to be nasty. And I've had cases where it isn't so. So I thank the lawyers and know that they're working hard. And sometimes we kind of juggle these things with witnesses. Sometimes people come from out of town, various conflicts. But I thank the lawyers for what they've done. And that's going to be our schedule for tomorrow. So get here around 8:15, 8:30. And then we'll break sometime between 12 and noon. Now, with that being said, the state's getting ready to call a witness. And he is a law enforcement officer who, since this case occurred, since he worked on it, has got a new assignment. Unrelated to this case, has nothing to do with this case, but he's got a new assignment. And he now works in an undercover capacity. Because of the media presence here, okay, we're going to allow him to conceal his identity because he works undercover, and we got a television camera here. So I don't want you to be alarmed. It has absolutely nothing to do with this case. He's moved on in his career. It is a he.
Yes.
Okay, and he's going to wear a mask. So it can be strange to you, but there's the reason for it, because we have cameras here. He works in an undercover capacity. None of this has to do with our case, but he's got to keep working. So there's your instruction. State, are you ready?
Yes. Agent Rhodes.
Agent Rhodes, please. Agent, come on in. Watch your step. We have some plugs there. And then when you get around that screen, if you'd raise your right hand and face Mr. Clerk for me.
Please solemnly swear upon the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes.
Okay, Agent, you're going to have a seat right up there. When you get situated, especially with the mask on, be very important that you get that microphone right in front of your mouth. Speak directly into it. And once you're comfortable, if you do me a favor, state your full name and spell the last name for the jurors.
Sure. My name is Agent Brandon Rhodes, R-H-O-D-E-S.
Terrific. State, you may proceed.
Hi, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
You've already told us your name. Tell us where you work.
For the Jupiter Police Department,
How long have you been a law enforcement agent?
approximately 12 and a half years.
During that 12 and a half years, have you always worked for Jupiter?
Yes, ma'am.
And just generally, what kind of, what units or assignments have you had with Jupiter?
Sure. The first 2.5 years I was on road patrol, and then I went to a community policing unit for about a year. And for the past 9 years, I've been assigned to the street crimes unit.
And what does street crimes do?
We're a proactive investigative unit, so we take proactive measures to investigate robberies, burglaries, vice-related crimes, stuff like that.
All right. And as part of your duty as an agent with Jupiter Police Department, when there's a bigger case or a case that involves numerous crime scenes or numerous witnesses, is the street team and agents such as yourself called in to assist detectives with anything they need at times?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you an agent back in February of 2017?
Yes.
Were you called in a few times to provide assistance to either Detective Danielle Hirsch or Detective Kelly Sanders related to the triple homicide that occurred on Mohawk Street in Jupiter?
Yes, I was.
I'd like to speak with you about February 6th of 2017. Were you asked either the day before or that day or the evening before to assist in helping find a vehicle, a Honda that was stolen from 1105 Mohawk related to that homicide.
Yes.
And what did you all do as the Jupiter Police Department? What steps did you take to try to find that vehicle?
We entered the vehicle as a felony vehicle with our dispatch. And what that does is it sends out a message to surrounding agencies that this vehicle is located to hold and notify us.
Okay. Is that like a BOLO, a be on the lookout?
Yes.
For, goes throughout all the agencies surrounding Jupiter?
Yes.
And did you all receive a hit from Palm Beach Gardens at approximately 8:30 a.m. February 6, 2017?
Yes, we did.
And where were you directed by Palm Beach Gardens to go to related to this car?
The vehicle was found abandoned on 95 in the southbound lanes around North Lake Boulevard.
Okay. And just for those who may not know, approximately how far is North Lake Boulevard, I-95 from Jupiter? Like maybe from the Indiantown exit?
It's 2 exits south, so probably 5 miles.
Okay. And did you and another agent and some crime scene people from Jupiter respond to that area?
Yes.
I'm going to approach and show you what's already been admitted into evidence as States Exhibit 278, 280, 272. Just ask you to take a look at these and let me know if you recognize this being the area where the car was found. And I'm showing you 280 and 278.
Yes, I do.
All right, and let me publish those. While I'm publishing those, take a look at what's been admitted already is 272, and then for what I've marked for ID purposes, 313 through 319, and I'll ask you questions about these photos in a moment. And there's a laser pointer up there if you need it, or if you need to step down just to see the screen, okay?
Okay.
So now publishing 280 for the jury. And Agent, just take a look at 280. Is that the car that, the Honda that the Volvo picked up?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was it located?
It was in the
Picture shot.
It was in the southbound lanes of I-95 on the right shoulder, just around North Lake Boulevard.
And showing 278, is this also the car? Is this how it looked when you arrived?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car was it?
Honda Accord, I believe.
Now, showing you, I showed you the photographs of 313 through 319. Do these fairly and accurately depict some of the items that you found during a search of an area right near that car?
Yes.
State moves 313 and through 319 into evidence at this time.
Any objection? Admitted.
Let's begin to, go ahead and tell me what you did when you first got there. First of all, who was there?
Myself and Agent Farinacci, I believe, was there. Members of Palm Beach Gardens Police Department. And on the way down there, we, the detectives who were at the house where the crime happened, advised there was a possible improvised explosive device.
Okay.
Which kind of threw us all off. So when we got to the car, we asked for a bomb dog from Palm Beach Gardens just to sweep the car for any energetic materials, because at that point we didn't know what we had.
You're talking about there were some items found in Mohawk that people thought might be explosive devices. So you put the bomb dog through the Honda, having sniff around?
He didn't enter the vehicle, I believe. I think he just
Went around it?
went around it, yes.
And was there anything that the bomb dog alerted to on the Honda?
Not that I recall.
All right. No bomb people came to the Honda, correct?
No.
All right, so after the dog did that, and for your safety, did you see Palm Beach Gardens there with another dog?
Yes.
And when I say dog, are these canine dogs?
Yes, they're police canine dogs.
And we'll speak to one of the officers from Palm Beach Gardens a little bit later about that. But did you watch Palm Beach Gardens take their canine dog through that area trying to locate any items that were in the surrounding area of I-95?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Just like you said, the canine officer went down into the grassy area on the other side of the wall and just did an article search from, I believe it was Holly Drive south to the vehicle, and around the vehicle, the officer walked by and looked to his left and saw an open culvert and saw these discarded items.
And when you say the wall, is this the I-95 wall?
Yes, ma'am, the one that's on the right side of the vehicle.
Right here? Right here?
This wall, right? That wall right there.
Okay, so where was the dog walking?
If you head north in this grassy area, there's a gate at Holly Drive, which runs east and west. And so we went down to North Lake and drove over to Holly Drive, and that's where we accessed the area through the gate.
Okay, so it's over on the other side of the wall?
It's down this little alleyway,
Okay.
and then the gate runs. The road runs east and west.
So this is some of the officers down there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You recognize states 281 as being one of the areas?
Yes.
And so, was your attention directed towards that area? Did they tell you to come on down?
Yes, I went with the canine officer around and just walked behind him.
You were walking behind the canine and the Palm Beach Gardens guy?
Correct.
All right. And let's talk about what you saw. I'm going to publish 318. Tell us what you saw when you walked into this area.
So this culvert's about, I don't know, 2 to 3 feet in past the wall. And I mean, you can clearly see it from the grassy area of the walkway. And that's pretty much what I saw. I looked to the left, I saw the butt of the AK-47 type style rifle and just some other items.
How far away from the Honda was this route?
Probably 10 to 20 feet.
When you say you saw first of all, in your career, training, experience, are you familiar with assault rifles?
Yes.
And you said you noticed the butt of a rifle. What did it appear to, what type of weapon did it appear to be?
It appeared to be an AK style rifle.
Now, did you go further, closer in?
Yeah, I kind of went right up to it and just looked into it and then called for CSI Bryant.
And did she come to the scene?
Yes.
Did y'all pull things out before she came to the scene, or did you wait for her?
We waited for her.
And as soon as she arrived, did you all, or was she taking photographs of you all when you went in to retrieve these items?
Yes.
Showing states 319. Tell us what else you saw within that cohort.
So I saw the rifle, the handgun, and then it would just look like black hoodie type sweatshirt, and I believe some gloves were laying somewhere in around that, all that stuff.
Okay, so we had an assault rifle, a handgun, you said a hoodie, and then a pair of gloves?
Yes.
Were all of those items, were they inside that culvert?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Showing you states 315. Is this the handgun that they pulled it out?
Yes, it is.
Is that your hand? Are you wearing gloves?
Yes, ma'am.
314, a pair of gloves. Are those the gloves that you found in there?
Yes.
And that hoodie, showing you 313. To the right, is that the hoodie?
Yes, it is.
And within the hoodie, did you find something?
Yes.
What did you find?
A set of keys, a BMW key, an LA Fitness card, scanner, and a couple, I believe, a couple house keys.
And the assault rifle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about this assault rifle. 317? Is this the gun?
Yes, it is.
And is that exactly how it looked when you pulled it out?
Yes, it is.
Go ahead using the laser pointer. Can you explain just some of the general parts of this assault rifle?
Sure. This portion here is called the buttstock. It rests on your shoulder. This is the barrel. In here would be the chamber where the bolt would action, and this is the magazine where the ammunition would feed up into the chamber, and this is the trigger.
Did you inspect at the scene, the inside of it, showing 360? What are you doing here in this photo?
We're just photographing the condition that it was found in and also rendering it safe for transport back to the evidence facility.
What is this right here?
Those are 7.62 caliber rounds.
And was the gun loaded?
Yes, it was.
So what you have in your hand, if you look back at 317, what did you do? Did you take the magazine out or what?
Yeah, so I took the magazine, extracted it from the magazine well, and there was a round seated in the chamber, and we extracted that as well.
All right. Tell us about, did you notice anything that would indicate a malfunction occurred with this rifle?
Yes.
Go ahead and tell us about that.
When I looked inside the chamber, the magazine, or excuse me, the round had a what's called a light primer strike.
What's that mean?
So typically, when a rifle fires, the operator pulls a trigger, the bolt engages, the firing pin hits the primer, it ignites the gunpowder and expels the round out of the barrel of the gun. And then subsequently, the gas would make the bolt cycle back, and then the magazine would feed up more ammunition into the gun. The malfunction that I believe I saw was, in this case, the operator would pull the trigger, the firing pin would hit the primer with not enough force to ignite the gunpowder, and the round wouldn't leave the chamber. And in that case, the bolt would not cycle back, and the ammunition would not feed up into the gun.
So when you saw it, it was kind of, you had a piece of ammo, a live round, kind of stuck up in there?
It was just seated in there with what it looked like the firing pin had hit the round, but the actual bullet had not expelled from the gun.
Is it easy if you're using this weapon, you're in the middle of shooting it, and that happens, is it easy to fix it really quick and keep shooting?
You would have to have training in a high-stress situation. If you haven't trained on how to clear a malfunction, you would probably be overwhelmed with it.
Okay, so it would cease the shooting?
Most likely.
And when you said you took the magazine out, you secured the weapon for transport, did you keep all of the ammunition in the magazine?
I believe so, yeah.
And let me show you what's been admitted as 295. And I'm going to ask your help. Maybe we can move that water thing, that would be great. Benjamin and Ashley helped publish this. Take a look, and it's already been secured for court purposes. States 295. Is this the assault rifle that you found?
Yeah, it appears to be.
We have gloves, if you want to use gloves. You were there when CSI Bryant took custody of all this, correct?
Yes, I was.
ma'am. Watch your step, sir.
Just that way. Show us where that malfunction would have been. Like, where did you see it?
Well, you can't really see it because it's on the other side of the right.
Agent, could I ask you to do me a favor? I know it's hard with the mask on. Really project your voice.
You can't really see where I would look into the rifle because the ejection port is on the other side.
Okay.
The round was seated inside the chamber
Okay.
right there.
All right. Take this out. Jeff, can you take this out?
Yes.
Okay. I have a pair of scissors that might work.
Ooh. We have a pair over here. Or you have one there?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And ensuring that we don't point this at anyone, help me out, Adrian. First of all, when it's secured, you're familiar with firearms, right? You've got a lock in here, that even if somebody pulled the trigger, nothing would happen, it's not loaded or anything like that. So go ahead and help us out.
This is the ejection port right here. So what I found was the magazine was inserted in the magazine well, supplied ammunition, and right here inside of the chamber was a round. And on the back of that round is a primer. Like I said before, that's what when the fireman hits the primer, it ignites the gunpowder and expels the round. The round that I saw had an impression or indentation on the primer, indicating to me that the fire pin had struck the primer, but failed to ignite the powder and expel it.
I just want to walk down and show.
Watch your step.
Point to, same thing, just point to this side of the jury where the round was. And flipping it around, where would the magazine be put in? Right here?
Yes, this is the magazine well, so that's where the magazine is placed into.
So when you found this assault rifle, was fully loaded? Was loaded? Oh, thank you. And the magazine,
It appears to be yes.
yeah, check it.
Sorry, I took the gloves off.
Oh, sorry. Is it low, is there anything in there now?
No.
You can tell from the weight and from the sound.
Yeah, just by looking at it.
Okay. And the firearms, or I'm sorry, the bullets, what kind did you say they were? Were they?
They were 7.62 caliber rounds.
Okay. That's a different kind of round that you would put in a handgun, right? Or is that for Omar Felix?
Yeah, I'm not a firearms expert.
Okay. This is the magazine that was in that assault rifle with these rifle bullets.
Yes.
And then CSI Bryant collected it?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that the general end of your involvement at the culvert that evening or that day?
Yes.
All right. State has no further questions at this time.
Cross-examination. And Ms. Richstone, was it your intention to enter that into evidence?
Yes. State
Any-
enters, state's exhibits,
295?
295 evidence.
Any objection?
No.
Admitted.
Agent, back on February 5th of 2017, what was your title at that time?
Agent.
Okay, and you would dress how when you went to work?
In plain clothes.
In plain clothes. Were you in plain clothes this day?
I was wearing jeans and a marked police shirt.
Okay, and so a marked police shirt would be part of your uniform, right?
It depends on what we're doing, but for when we're doing investigative work like this, collecting evidence, yes.
All right, an agent is different than a detective.
Yes.
And that day when you were on I-95, was there any detective who was present?
I don't recall.
All right, were you actually the one who was directing the CSI?
Well, I asked the CSI to come, and then I kind of fell under her because she's the expert of collecting evidence, so I just kind of followed her directions.
All right, but you are the individual that would be in charge of asking her to come down to the culvert, that there were items there,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And then she provided you gloves, you removed the items.
Correct.
And began to photograph things.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and at any point, did you ask her to attempt to take any swabs or process anything that was on that cement wall between the Honda and the drop point to the culvert?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Did you notice whether or not there was any blood or anything of that nature in that area?
I did not observe any blood.
The Honda that was seen on I-95, the windows were actually down?
I don't recall if they were down or up.
So I'm just going to show you 280. I'll let you look at it before I put it up. Okay, and looking at the driver's side of the vehicle, can you see that the driver's, there's the driver's windows down and the passenger seat behind the driver is partially down?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the way you found the vehicle, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so you're actually called to the scene, or your agency is called to the scene by Palm Beach Gardens,
Yes.
because they're the individuals who find the vehicle.
Correct.
All right, and when you come to the scene, Palm Beach Gardens actually notifies you. I think you wrote a report in this case that's dated for February 6th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you actually arrive at that scene at approximately 8:30 in the morning on February 6th?
That's when we were advised, I believe. I don't know if that's the time I arrived, but I mean, somewhere within that time frame.
Okay, so you were advised by Palm Beach Gardens that the vehicle had first been spotted at 8:30 a.m. on February 6th?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, and you were aware that this incident, the shooting that occurred at Mohawk Street, actually occurred at about 10:30 at night on February the 5th?
Yes.
All right, so about 10 hours passes between the time of that shooting and when this vehicle is first observed on I-95?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when you were at the scene, you indicated that you had 2 canines that arrived, correct?
Yes.
One of them was for the purpose of doing an article search looking for evidence,
Yes.
and the other was for a bomb detecting.
Correct.
All right, and you've detailed to us that you found the revolver and the rifle, the hoodie and the gloves inside the culvert.
Yes.
Now, when you were showing the jury this particular weapon, the rifle, you carried it, or Ms. Richstone carried it too, mostly by this metal part that's in the center?
Yes.
Okay, and that's sort of the heaviest part of the gun,
Sure.
the natural place that you would grab it.
Yes.
And that is what we call the receiver of the gun.
Yes.
Okay. And when you were in the culvert, And looking around that area, did you also look in the bushes that were up near where the cement wall is?
Yeah, we scoured the whole area.
All right. Did you recover anything other than the items that you have detailed?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Never found any masks?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. One of the things that you mentioned when you were talking about this rifle is that you kept saying it was fully loaded.
Correct.
All right. This clip or the magazine that goes into it actually can hold 30 rounds.
But yeah, it appears so.
All right. There weren't 30 rounds in the rifle.
I didn't take the rounds out or count them, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. So you don't actually know how many rounds were in there.
No.
All right. You just know that there were some rounds in there.
Correct.
Okay. And are all the rounds that were recovered in this particular?
I don't know because once the CSI took it from the scene, I didn't have any contact with that evidence.
Okay. All right. In addition to the work that you did that day on the 6th, you also were asked to follow up with an individual by the name of Luke Kasoukas.
Correct.
All right. And you were actually asked to look at photographs from his Facebook page
Yes.
and to locate him and surveil him.
Correct.
And that occurred on February 9th?
I believe so. It occurred a few days.
Okay. And you located him actually at the Park Avenue Grill?
Yes.
All right. And do you recall what Mr. Kasoukas looked like?
Yeah, he's a white male. He has long dreadlocks and tattoos on his arms.
Okay. Did you also notice that he had gold teeth?
I didn't see if he had gold teeth or not.
Okay. Did you see that on his Facebook pages?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So gold teeth, dreads, white male, dark-skinned male. Very tan?
Sure. I'm not a judge of skin color like that, but he wasn't pasty white. He was tan.
Okay. All right. And other than that one particular day that you were asked to surveil him, were you asked to do anything else to follow up regarding Mr. Kasoukas?
Not that I recall, just a couple surveillance details.
Okay.
Sure. Any redirect?
Just briefly.
Go ahead.
If there had been blood present near that Honda, on the wall, near the culvert, would you have notated that?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's no notation from you or from CSI, Bryant, about any blood, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, same thing with any other articles, anything else suspicious, you would have directed her to it, it would have been collected, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Regarding Luke Kasoukas, you were asked to, in the days following this homicide, to surveil him and follow him around, kind of watch him, see if anything suspicious happened, correct?
Yes.
And did you do so?
Yes.
Did anything materialize from that? Anything suspicious, any criminal activity you saw him doing, or anything that could be relevant to this case?
Not that I recall.
Okay. You would have put it in your reports, right?
Yes.
All right. I have nothing further.
You may step down, sir. Watch your step. Thank you. State, call your next witness. Deputy Sanders, please. Deputy Sanders, come on up, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you for your patience. Watch your step. When you get past the screen, you're going to face Mr. Clerk. He's behind here. And raise your right hand, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the evidence you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
All right, you're going to have a seat right up there. Watch your step. You do me a favor, once you get situated, the chair swivels, the microphone moves. It's very important to me that you get that microphone straight center with your mouth and speak directly into it, and then tell us your full name and slowly spell it for the jurors, please.
My first name is Ryan. My last name is Sanders. R-Y-A-N, last of S-A-N-D-E-R-S.
Terrific. Thank you, sir. State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you currently employed?
I'm employed with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been with the Sheriff's Office?
Full-time employment since October 27th, 2016.
Prior to that?
I was a volunteer.
And as a deputy sheriff with the Sheriff's Department, did you go through the police academy and training that was required?
Yes.
Where are you currently assigned?
I'm currently assigned to District 2, Mangonia Park.
And what area does that encompass?
It's the area of 45th Street and Australian in the county of Palm Beach.
Okay. Going back to February, specifically February 5th, 2017, were you assigned to a specific area?
I was assigned to District 3 North Region Bureau, the north end of the district, which is encompassed of Blue Heron Boulevard north to Martin County line.
That night, on February 5th, 2017, approximately 10 p.m. that evening, did you respond to a call in the Jupiter area, but it was unincorporated?
Yes.
And who did you respond there with?
Deputy Householder and Deputy Ratka.
Okay. And at some point, as you were headed there, was the call canceled?
Yes.
Okay. When the call was canceled, did you then leave from that area?
Yes.
And do you recall what streets you were traveling on, leaving or turning around from the call that was canceled?
We were leaving Jonathan's Landing and heading towards alternate A1A. And then we headed north on South alternate A1A from that. I believe the road is Burroughs Road.
Okay. Were you following Detective Householder, well, she was deputy then, Detective Householder and Deputy Ratka?
Yes.
And could you tell us what the sequence of cars was with you all?
Deputy Ratka was driving a Ford F-150. He was the first vehicle. Deputy, now Detective Householder, was driving a Ford Taurus. She was the second vehicle, and I was a third, driving a Crown Vic.
And did there come a point where there was another vehicle that almost struck Deputy Ratka?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
While traveling north, the light was green for us, and a dark-colored sedan ran the red light at Tony Penna and alternate A1A, almost striking Deputy Ratka's vehicle on the driver's side.
Did Deputy Ratka keep going?
When that occurred, he jerked his vehicle to the right to avoid the crash. Deputy Householder slowed down, and I changed lanes to go around to attempt to stop the vehicle.
Okay. And did you activate any lights or sirens?
Not at that time, because I was still attempting to catch up to the vehicle to obtain a license plate number or make or model.
And were you able to do that?
No.
Okay. And what ends up happening, well, do you catch up to the vehicle?
As I'm starting to catch up to the vehicle, it makes a U-turn in front of oncoming traffic, almost causing another accident. I had to wait until traffic cleared to make the U-turn without causing a traffic accident.
So at this point, are you in front of Detective Householder?
Yes.
Okay. So there comes a point you're able to make the U-turn.
Yes.
Does Detective Householder also make the U-turn?
Yes.
Did you lose sight of the dark color sedan?
While waiting for the U-turn, I looked over my shoulder to the left behind me to observe the vehicle to see if it went straight or turned, and it made a right turn on the Tony Penna heading westbound. When we made the U-turn, I went down Old Dixie Highway that parallels the train tracks, and from what I saw in my rearview mirror, Deputy Householder went straight down Tony Penna towards Military Trail.
Did you see the car that almost hit Deputy Ratka and made the abrupt U-turn? Did you see it anywhere on Old Dixie?
While I was traveling down Old Dixie, I saw the same style and color with the same type of taillights that I observed, making an illegal pass on the left hand, breaking the double yellow line to pass a car illegally. And then it made a right turn heading back towards Military Trail.
Did you believe the car that you saw to be the same vehicle that almost struck Deputy Racca?
Yes.
And throughout this, this entire time that you're trying to catch up to this dark-colored sedan, do you know anything about a shooting that's happened at 1105 Mohawk?
No.
Okay. Is Jupiter Police Department on a different radio channel than
Yes.
the Sheriff's Department?
Total different communications and radio channel.
Okay. So you see the car go around. At this point, are you able to catch up to the car?
The car is roughly 500 to 1,000 feet in front of me. Still unable to obtain a plate or make a model at that time.
Does there come a point that you, I guess, reunite with Detective Householder?
Yes.
How is it that that happens?
Driving down, I believe it's Jupiter Lakes Boulevard that runs along the Dixie Highway, meets with Jupiter, and then you drive towards Military Trail. It's the same way you can get to Jupiter Medical Center. When I was approaching Military Trail, I saw Deputy Householder, now detective, driving south on Military Trail. I made the left turn to get behind her, and we were driving down Military Trail, and we observed the same, I observed the same vehicle make a right turn.
Had you lost sight of the car?
Yes,
Okay. So at this point, you're behind
Deputy Householder.
Householder. Okay. And what happens?
We're driving southbound, and I see the same type of vehicle make a right turn. She follows the same way the vehicle went, and I follow her. And then I follow her up to, I believe it's Pennock Point or Pennock Lane. We're driving up there, up that road northbound, and she's the lead car and I'm behind her. And we're attempting to catch up to the vehicle, but we have to stop and slow for stop signs, and this vehicle is continually to run the stop signs. Eventually, we do catch up to the vehicle. It slows down after making a few turns into the neighborhood, and it attempts to parallel park, and this time we're both stopped, and I come around Deputy Householder's vehicle, and when I do, I see a person laying on the ground.
Okay, let me stop you for just a second.
Okay.
Do you know that this is the same vehicle, going back to alternate A1A, that almost struck Deputy Racca?
Yes.
Okay. When you come around, at any point, are your lights and sirens activated?
No.
Okay. What about, is your patrol car equipped with a dash camera?
Yes, it is.
Was your dash camera activated at the point that you turn and you're behind Detective Householder and you see the car that you recognized kind of parallel park and pulling out?
Yes.
Okay. And what happens at that point?
When I pull around, I see the individual laying on the ground. My passenger window is down, and she yells over to me to go get the car to get a license plate. So I leave the area, making a right turn and then another left turn back onto Pennock Lane. And a truck cut me off. I didn't know if he was making a turn, U-turn. I don't know what he was doing, but I went around him, and at that time, she said over the radio that the person on the ground had gunshot wounds.
Okay. May I approach the witness?
You may.
Deputy Sanders, do you recognize this city?
Yes.
And do you recognize it to be the dash cam video from your car?
Yes.
And it is a fair and accurate representation of February 5th, 2017, when you pulled up in the Paseos neighborhood and observed an individual male laying in the roadway, and then you proceeded to chase the car that was also stopped there, that originally almost hit Deputy Racca.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, the state would offer an evidence, State's Exhibit 320.
No objection, admitted.
Deputy Sanders, were you ever able to catch up to that car once you left out of the Paseos neighborhood?
No, due to the fact that the car had such a gain on me to begin with. my vehicle was unable to catch up to the vehicle.
After losing sight of that vehicle, did you ever respond back to the Paseos neighborhood?
Yes, after I attempted to locate the vehicle, I drove down Indian Town Road all the way to 130th and came all the way back to see if I would see the vehicle, and I did not. And I came back to the location where we first originated from.
And how long did you stay on scene there, approximately?
I don't recall how long I was there for.
Okay. Did you stay there while fire rescue was there and Jupiter Police Department arrived?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever go to 1105 Mohawk?
No.
Okay. Did you have any other involvement in this case?
No.
No further questions at this time.
Cross?
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Just a couple questions for you. During the time period between when you initially saw the vehicle almost strike Deputy Rocca's vehicle
Yes.
and the time that you regained a visual on that vehicle, how much time went by, approximately?
From what time to what time when he attempted to, when the car ran the intersection, to the time from what point? When I got back behind it?
Well,
Or first initially behind it? Attempted to.
let's start with at the beginning. So you see the vehicle, and then you lose sight of that vehicle, correct?
Yes.
How much time passes between then and the next time that you see the vehicle?
I can't recall the approximate time, but it was a very short time. It wasn't very long.
Are we talking 10 or 15 seconds or 10 or 15 minutes?
Seconds.
Okay. And there was a second time that you lost sight of the vehicle?
Yes.
All right. And how much time passed? Let me back up. From the next time that you saw the vehicle to the time that you lost sight of it again, how much time had passed?
I can't recall the exact, I'd say about 30 seconds.
Okay. Now, Deputy Householder testified, I think yesterday, that there was a period of time after the vehicle nearly struck Deputy Rocca's car where you were driving around attempting to locate that vehicle, you and her both, correct?
Yes.
And so your recollection is that was a short period of seconds as opposed to minutes?
Yes.
Okay. When you did finally come into contact with that vehicle prior to it stopping, where you saw the man in the road, your dash cam was not operating at that point in time, right?
No, sir.
You have to actually manually turn that on.
Yes.
During the time that you were pursuing the vehicle, both before you observed the individual in the street and after, you never saw anything thrown out of that vehicle, correct?
No, sir.
And I know you described being a distance away at some point, but you didn't see anything in the roadway that appeared to have come from that vehicle, right?
No.
During the time that you were pursuing that vehicle, you weren't able to see the occupants of the vehicle?
No.
You weren't able to see even the driver, even though obviously there was a driver in the vehicle?
No, I was not able to.
You weren't able to tell if there was anybody in the front passenger seat or how many people were in the rear passenger seat, right?
No, sir.
And you didn't see the manner in which Mr. Vasata, who was the young man in the street, how he ended up coming out of that vehicle onto the street, right?
I saw it, but my dash cam didn't pick it up.
Okay. And you were behind Deputy Householder, right?
Yes.
So when you looked at that dash cam video, I suspect, prior to testifying today,
Yes, sir.
and the video shows Mr. Vasata in the street as you come around Deputy Householder's vehicle on the left, right?
Yes.
It doesn't show the actual exit of the vehicle, correct? Just 1 second, please.
Sure.
I know you said that you were never called to respond to the address on Mohawk that we've been talking about, right?
I was never called there.
You're familiar with the Jupiter area because you patrol there, right?
Somewhat familiar.
And so that Jupiter River Estates area where the Mohawk address is, you know where that neighborhood is?
No.
No? Okay. North of Tony Penna, west of A1A?
That's incorporated Jupiter. I hardly ever go there.
You don't know you don't know the distance between A1A where you first saw the vehicle and the Mohawk residence?
No.
All right.
Any redirect?
Briefly, the neighborhood, do you know the name of the neighborhood that you responded to? Well, I should say responded, where you were when you saw the mail laying in the road?
I've driven through there before, yes.
Do you know the name of it? Is it the Paseos neighborhood?
I can't recall.
Okay, do you know the name of the street that the mail was on?
Oh, man.
Would your report?
I wrote it down in
Would
my
your report refresh your
Yes.
recollection? May I approach him, Your Honor?
Okay. Yes, the road that we were on was Paseos Way.
Okay, do you recall approximately what time it was that you were headed to the initial call and that call was canceled?
I don't remember the initial time.
Okay, do you have an approximate time, or would your report reflect the approximate time?
My report would reflect the approximate time of when it was canceled.
Okay, and what was that approximate time?
22:36 hours.
Which is,
That is a
is that 10?
10:36
Okay.
p.m.
May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
You may step down, sir. Watch your step. Thank you.
Thank you.
State, you ready to call the next witness?
Judge Fain?
All right, it's a logical time to break. We're going to just take an early lunch and come back early. So it's 11:30. Was the hour and 10 minutes enough time? Too much? Too much. Remember, these guys I'm going to give them an hour and 10 minutes. I think they need it. So if I ask you to be back here at 12:40, and if we get started earlier, great. But we'll shoot for 12:40. Turn your pads upside down in your chairs. Do not talk about the case in any way, shape, or form. Don't Google, Facebook, Twitter, nothing at all. Please, please, please follow that instruction. Watch your step coming out of the jury box. The deputies will take care of you. I think we got some food in the refrigerator for some of you folks, right? We'll find it. And then lawyers will shoot for you guys to be back at 12:35 in case we got something to talk about.